Okay, guys, welcome to this episode of the Wealth Creation Show. And today we're going to cover the topic of driving ambition. And we'll kind of try and delve into a lot of, how driving ambition could help you in your journey to succeed and your whole wealth creation journey as well. Now, ambition is quite a big thing, that it's quite a big driver. Some people and a lot of success and things have many definitions of what ambition is to them and things and how it drives them forward. Many individuals kind of sometimes want to know how to obtain like that success that they see others that have. And the driving ambition is often listed alongside that as one of the key elements to be successful. Now, I'm sure if people listen to a lot more successful people, they will say that their ambition is the thing that drove them forward. But is ambition enough? That's something that we'll cover today as well. And many people sometimes feel that they do feel ambitious, but maybe they lack that motivation to take the next steps and have that drive. So, it's a bit of a balancing act as well. And sometimes too much ambition can be a bit much. Some people could be overly ambitious as well. So there's the balance between that as well. And there's always that debate between people's talent versus their quick change there, Jim.
Yeah,
Their talent
do it by
versus
magic.
their talent versus their hard work, and how that plays a role in determining whether or not your ambition helps you to succeed, and that depends on your definition of success as well, of course. So if you are driven to succeed, whether that be in your career, whether that be in your personal life, or whether it's your success and wealth creation journey, your ambition can really take you quite far if it's applied properly, and if you apply yourself properly. I think is probably the best way to put that. Do you think that ambition is a big driver for you, Jim?
It's a difficult one to quantify, because when you get to a certain point, you kind of think to yourself, how much more do I need? And so then you wonder what's driving that forward. I had a discussion during the week with some of the agents about, what was driving them what's driving you forward. So what's driving you to do this? What's driving you to do that? Have you ever thought about that? Why do you want to do it? I think that's the most important point. It's why do you do anything, and what is driving you? What is the driving force behind that? Driving force behind kids. That's for me. I think that's where it lies for me. Kids, community, me. How much more do I need? It's like a yacht's not going to make any difference to me. A Lamborghini is not going to make any difference to me. It's just things, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to make you feel good about what people think about you, potentially. By the way, they don't think nice things sometimes. You don't realize that. So material stuff, I don't think that's my driving force, is material. It's what it can do. So wealth creation is what we're talking about. Wealth creation for the wealth creation's sake is no good. It's ultimately, it's what can you do with it once you get it. So yeah, you've got this abundance of money, but what is it going to do? What is it going to do for you? What is it going to do for everybody else? What's the point of it? What's the point?
Yeah. So I think it'd be fair to say, obviously, I mean, ambition itself is a goal with that driving energy behind it. For you, as you said, Jim, it was your kids, it was your legacy, it was your community. These were all your drivers that, and ultimately you wanted to, your goals and the drivers behind it. And it's probably fair to say that when you refer to these things, kind of like when the stakes are high, or when your rewards associated with that kind of success and achieving these things, then that's the drivers for your ambition.
It's also being around the right people. And I will name drop, but I tell you what, being around people far more successful than you, like Branson, for example, changes your mindset. And actually, for me personally, it makes me a better person, or I feel like I'm a better person as a result of that. So, and it's probably the power of association, which is other previous shows that we've done about how important the power of association is. I think these are all things that drive you for ambition. Now, I had a conversation with someone who went, "Oh, we're not doing that great this year," and I went, "Well, I tell you what, if you want to come back next year to Necker Island, surely that's going to be the driving force behind it."
Yeah.
And the fact that if you get yourself sorted out, get yourself back on track, you can come here next year. That, I suppose, that was the driving force I was trying for them to sort them out for that reason. So yeah, it's the rewards associated with success. And but then it comes deeper than that, and I'm going to really think deep. What is success? It's just a journey. It's not a destination, really, and ultimately we're taught within our education system that success is something you achieve, and success is to be achieved. Whereas I look at success now as success is a long, progressive road or journey towards somewhere where you'll probably never arrive. And it just so happens you've got points that you stop on the way that define how far you've got down that road. But I think for me, for anybody else that's really successful, even when you look at Musk, you look at Bezos, you look at Buffett, you look at all these different people, when you analyze them, why are they doing it then? What's the ambition for them?
Yeah,
Because it's like, because if you were in their position, would you bother anymore? No, you wouldn't. So what's driving them?
Yeah, because they've got, I mean, copious amounts of money and success, and so what's keeping them going further from where they are at the moment? So that's quite an interesting one.
It definitely is. And once you crack that code, that means you'll probably never stop, because you'll realize I'll be honest, I'll probably know the answer to this. There's a far bigger picture than you.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And Musk has probably touched on it quite a lot. And Musk basically claims that he's doing it for the greater of humanity.
Yeah, with the whole space set. Yeah.
It's like if I need to do this. I need to do this for humanity. I need to do it for everybody else.
I think it's like he's got.
Don't necessarily. I mean, he likes the accolades and he likes, all the fame that comes with it. But when he goes off camera, how does he feel? How does he act? And he probably just goes back to normality, just like you and I.
Yeah, but I'd imagine with the whole SpaceX thing and all that, do you know? And he thinks he's got this duty to do this for the better of humanity and things. Do you think it's a bit like a call into him? Like he's like, I have to do this.
I think now that you know what you know, you can't not do it.
You can't not do it. Yeah,
I think that's the thing. It drives you forward. Now that you know what you know, you can't not do it. It's like me with video content. When I found out that you could do video walkthroughs, we could do talk-ups and everything like that. This is how you do it. And before that, I'd never even thought about that. Or I touched on it, but I wasn't really sure about what to do or really was it relevant. But then when somebody taught me that, and then what they did was they said it 2 years before someone else that I knew had been taught it, but they had never done it. And then I thought, I've got to do it. Because it's like I've got to be the first person to do this. It's like there's no way that I could be a follower.
Yeah, that like the setting to the race.
Yeah, although there's a lot of people being extremely successful being set in place.
Yeah,
extremely successful, and the first place has actually gone by the wayside because they've trailed the path and they've come after them and actually followed the superhighway that they've made.
If you follow in the setting, then that's fine. But then if you look at it on the flip side, somebody that was to follow, you've done all those thousands of days live videos and how it's evolved. For somebody to get to that stage, you're years in front. And you would have been that person that's years behind. If you look at it on the flip side?
I would never have wanted to be the person that came second.
I would have done
it.
All that
I probably would have done it. I would have done it because you have to remember, if that was the case and we all appeal to the same people, then there'd be only one person, there'd be only one car, there'd be only one house style that anybody would want. There'd only be one of everything, because that's what everybody would want. But it's that variety, it makes a fundamental difference, and the uniqueness in each individual that appeals to other people as a result. So
people resonate with different people.
Of course. So we're talking about ambition, and we're really on the driving ambition, but it's probably the constant pursuit for knowledge.
Do you know, there was one question I was going to ask you just quickly, and that kind of brought it to light there when we spoke about being the second or blazing the trail. Do you know that you've probably come across a lot of people over the years, and they've maybe got all this energy and all the right energy, they're just not applying it they don't have the right goals, or not applying it in the right places, or have that force and effort to put it in the right place. That's
quite
something.
So they've got the right energy, you're saying, but they don't have the drive and ambition.
Or they don't have the right goals to apply it to,
But they don't have the drive and ambition because they probably don't have the right goals. And by having the right goals, it then puts them in the right track. So John and Caroline Galeshka was mentors years ago that I knew about, and I got advice from. And there's one word that they used to say that springs to mind, and it's one word: you gotta wanna. You gotta wanna. That's it. Just one word. You got to want to. You gotta wanna. That's the word that they had. You gotta wanna. And once you've gotta wanna, and you know what you want, that's when you'll have the drive and ambition to go for it. We always talk about that, don't we? You're either pushed by your circumstances or pulled by your dreams. If you're stuck in the middle and you've got neither, you'll do nothing. You'll just drift. So I think it's the drive and ambition behind it, and it's like what you said. It's the stakes that are maybe high. It's the rewards often associated with success, and it's the high-profile career or gaining a significant income that initially drives everybody forward to do what's necessary in order to get that achievement or what they call what they think is success. Let's be honest. Success is, when you realize when you get a lot older, success is the journey and the people you've helped as a result, and the legacy that you leave as a result of what you've done. That you will realize what is ultimate success, and the children you have as a result, and what you've taught them, and how they are as people. That is the definition for most people as they get older of success, and the time you've been able to spend with them and the memories you've created. That is success. Nowhere does money come into that phrase until you realize in order to do all these memories, you've got to have money to do it.
Then you get the realization.
Money is just a tool.
To
create better memories. That's it in a nutshell. Money is just a tool to create better memories. So how do you go about doing that? It's ambition. It's having that dream. It's having that goal. It's what you said about knowing where to put your effort and where to put your life force behind. The intangible thing within you that you wake up one day and you have a sense of purpose. You never had it the day before, but for some reason today you've got a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, and you're excited. You're fired up. Now, years ago, when I spoke to my mentors and they showed me a plan, a master plan, I basically woke up. I remember waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and thinking, "Oh my God, my life's going to change forever." And genuinely, that's how I felt about my future after that. And that's what fired me up once I'd seen that plan. You could never unsee that. You could never rub that out. You could never get rid of it. So once you've seen it and once you've tasted it and seen other people achieve it, so you think, God, I mean, and then once you hear their stories, you think, oh my God, this guy's a pig farmer. That's Neil Solway, by the way. This guy's a pig farmer and he's successful. That doesn't make any sense. This guy actually went down in his car one day and his door opened and he fell out the car and the car continued down the path while he was running after it.
Mm-hmm.
And he still became successful.
Yeah. So
what does that tell you then? What does that tell you? It's not who you are born as. It's not who you were born into. It's not where you were born from. It's not the circumstances surrounding you. Maybe it'll give you some sort of head start, but nothing. It will be an unstoppable force you will be if you have drive and ambition.
Yeah.
But how does that come about? How do we get that? Where do we get drive from? What is the, because we all pop out the same place, when we're born, we all come from, hey, here we are. It's like we've all got, in an ideal world, we've all got 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 whatever it is, 2 ears, 1 mouth. We've all come out from the same place. We just speak different languages, that's all. And we've all come into a different environment, but we all still start off the same with just a brain that's ready to be filled with knowledge and ready to be molded and shaped. So what makes that leap? Where does that happen? How does it happen? That's the sort of thing you've got to think about. And that's the thing I've thought about for years and years and years, and read loads and loads of books, listened to podcasts, discussed it with other people, and far more successful than me, about how is that, how does that person become successful as a result?
I think as well, you always hear this, you hear people comment on people that are successful, and you'll hear people quite a lot refer to the fact that, they were born into, some people with money and this, and they go right to the advantages that they had. But then really the most successful people haven't always come from such good backgrounds. And then I think, but that upbringing then in turn gives them that driving ambition, and that's what makes them successful. And we're going to run through today. I mean, I've put a lot of different ways in which driving ambition can help you be successful, and we're going to try and cover them.
Oh, you have? Wow.
Today I've put quite a lot in there, yeah. Because driving ambition, obviously in healthy amounts, could really help you grow. You learn more about your goals, you take more chances, and however, ambition alone might not always necessarily guarantee your success, but it's a really important part of that. And the first thing I put in here is goals, or setting goals and achieving them and things as well. And people that set goals and things and strive for excellence. But we spoke about this the other day, and this is quite a good thing to kick off for us to talk about these.
You're going to talk about I'm going to buy 20 properties in the next year.
Yes,
and then I phoned you up an hour later and went, what am I talking about? I should be saying 50.
It's setting those higher goals, and it's like, and we even spoke about, obviously, when you were talking about building your portfolio, and even when I was talking about like targets and things within the business, and we've got these obviously benchmarked, but then it's like, let's aim higher than that, because ultimately the worst you could do is hit target, but the best you could do is go exceed it.
The worst that you could do is be exactly where you were before. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And if you're happy to settle where you are now, then the best you can do is even a wee bit better than that. And imagine if you set a target. This is what I talk about this all the time about. Your target, really, your goal should ultimately be the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Your target should be the moon. Yeah. Because if you reach for the stars and you potentially miss it, you'll still catch the moon on the way down. And that's the point. So maybe you're, I'd be happy with the moon, but it's like, okay, let's see if we can go for the stars. Imagine if you got halfway between the moon and the stars. It's a hell of a lot better than the moon. Mm-hmm. And just because of that. And this is why I meant to say this. This is like, I said 20, then I came off and slapped myself about the head, and then thought and phoned you up and gone, what the hell was that all about? I should be saying 50 in the next year. And ultimately, it took 2 years to get 50, but now I'm on 60, and that's just over 2 years.
But you got there, yeah.
because I thought, okay, I'm in the zone. I may as well pick up another lot. So there's another 9 from someone else, another 1. Let's add that on. We've got 60 now. So 60 just with over a couple of years. And I'll still strive for more. I'll still keep going. When the opportunities are there. So I'm still on the lookout. But then the other one as well, I've got goals to buy existing letting agencies.
Yeah.
And not turn them around, but just make them more efficient and possibly rebrand them in certain areas. But buy businesses. But it has to be in my sphere of expertise. Because somebody says, "What about buying a coffee shop?" And it's like, right. It's like, what do I know about coffee?
That's not your forte. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what could I tell somebody? It's got, I'll buy businesses, a coffee chain maybe, and because that's obviously, you're spreading your risk over that. But you buy one place and it's like it all goes wrong. It's like you've lost everything. You buy a house, all goes wrong. You go and sell it. It's like, oh yeah, get my money back.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
So it's all very well, obviously setting goals, but I think it's having that driving ambition to exceed those goals and have a better result than what you were going to settle for before.
It's having the belief.
Yeah.
It's having the belief in yourself, the fact that you think you can achieve these goals. That's what it is. It's having belief in yourself. I definitely say that because here's a classic example about having belief in yourself. Okay, so I would say to you, right, you've maybe to buy, you have to buy 10 properties before the end of this year. So we're sitting on middle of December, thereabouts, or wherever it is, whatever. But the end of this month, for example, so you've got about 2 weeks or something. So you've got 2 weeks to buy another 10 properties, and you've no idea where you're going to get them from. And you're saying to me, there's no way I'm going to be able to buy 10 properties. But let me rephrase that. If I said to you, if you buy 10 properties before the end of this month, I will give you £1 million.
I would find them.
You would buy 10 properties, wouldn't you? You wouldn't care where you bought them and how you bought them, but you buy 10 properties because you know you're getting £1 million.
Yeah.
So what was the difference then?
The money is the driver.
No, it was the value you put on.
Yeah, the value.
The value you put on the task. So that tells me straight away that you don't have belief in yourself, if that's how you thought, and to be able to do that. But because you valued the task more, you saw more value in it. So therefore, you would push yourself to do it.
You had more driver. Yeah.
Pushed by your circumstances, pulled by your dreams. Pulled by your dreams. If you've got complete belief in yourself, that's pulled by your dreams, that you'll achieve it one day. You have belief in yourself. The other one, the value, about the £1 million for 10 properties, and all of a sudden you found a solution. It's like, so how did you find that solution with that? But you didn't find it the other way, because it's exactly the same process, but you put more value in it. That's pushed by your circumstances, by putting more value.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about, are you going to put more value on the task? Or are you going to have confirmed belief that yes, you will get there if you do this, even though you don't see it leading to there right now. You know it's going to lead to that payoff, so to speak. Buy 10 properties. As I said, £20,000 an hour for buying each property. You'll get paid effectively. So if you buy 10 properties, you'll pay yourself effectively £200,000 an hour if you bought 10 at once.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to, how did you come up with that? Well, I'm not going to tell you.
No.
It's effectively that's it. So you have to be part of our wealth creation network in order for you to find that out. But I know that's what it is. You lock in £200,000 an hour if you buy 10 properties at once, and if the numbers are right. Simple as that. How many other people do you know pay £200,000 an hour? Let me just say that out. £200,000 times 8-hour day, times 5 hours a week, times 47 in the year. That's, you're going to pay yourself effectively, if you did that, £376 million a year. Now, would you get excited?
Yeah. Definitely.
But do you believe it? And the answer to that would be no.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The belief is a big part of that, and especially when you're setting goals. If you don't believe that you can achieve these goals
Yeah.
or supersede these goals, if you've not got that belief, you're never going to do it.
I see a bigger picture. I've seen it already. This is why when people like have got to a certain level, lose all that money, they get it back quick again. Because they understand the process to get it again.
Just do it
They know
again,
what they need to do. Whereas people that first start off go, oh, how do you get that? How do you, oh, right, it's a huge climb and all the rest of it. It's like running a route for a classic example. It's like Richard Branson taking me out for the bike ride. Okay, so we're on Virgin Gordo, we're going on a bike ride, it's 10 mile. On the Sunday, it was like, oh my God, this is a chore. On the Wednesday morning, this is a lot easier. Because I now know the route. And I now know when to slow down, when to speed up. See that? Same thing.
Yeah.
So I find it a lot easier this time. Because he actually said to me, oh, you'll find it easier the next time. Now, he said that last year, but I never even got to the next time because I was goosed by the next time. I was like, I was broken because I'd pushed myself far too much. I never realised the journey I had to take. So what I learned from last year was like, whoa, become the tortoise, not the hare. Don't burn yourself out because you've got another bike ride exactly the same on Wednesday. Little did he tell me that the bike ride was going from 5k to 10 mile.
Which is a big jump.
Yeah. But I was able to pace myself out of that as well. So I knew what was coming. So see how all that teaches you stuff and the goal setting. You've talked about, I mean, we're not going to get through all of this, right?
We're not going to get through
brief. You've talked about personal development as well. This goes in growth stages, definitely. Because once you learn something, you implement it, you become good at it, and then you have to learn something else. So don't do the stop-start mentality. What to do is continually learn all the time, even though it's stuff that's got nothing to do with what you're doing. So I'm learning about how not to kill a conversation.
Okay.
So that's what I'm learning now. I'm also learning at the same time as I'm learning how to build extreme wealth as well from somewhere else and how to go about that. So, and these are things that I might not need right now, but it will be things that will come up in the future and I'll go, yeah, I'm ready for that now. I'm ready to hear that message. So that's the thing about personal development, improving your skills and becoming, so it's really improving my skills, isn't it? It's been more talented at what I'm doing, and it's also adapting my behavior to understand it's just a thing that you have to do. Like you're either going to have to pay the price now or you'll pay it later. But at some point in the future, you will pay a price for success or failure. That then leads to, I would say, financial stability. Over a period of time, you become financially stable. It's what would I say? And I talked about it the other day again to some of the estate agents about, what you do right now will be your living. It looks after your living.
Yeah.
What you do in your side hustle looks after your lifestyle to come. And you don't touch your side hustle, you build that wealth in your side hustle while having perfect security working for someone else.
You're
paying your salary, they're paying your pension, you're getting free holidays, you're getting, whatever it is, the benefits of the company have got, you're at the risks of being self-employed, you've got an easy gig there. Milk it for all it's got and build your side hustle at the same time outside of that. Now, for most people, side hustle is investment. And in order to be investments, then you have to do things like you've got to compromise on what you're going. Is that £10,000 holiday really worth it as a holiday of a lifetime when you're 30-year-old? Or is that £10,000, or is it maybe a £1,000 holiday and you take the £9,000 and you put it down for a deposit for maybe a 1-bedroom flat?
Yeah.
Or you put it in a growth fund, it grows and compounds over time. Or you put some in your pension, or you put somewhere else to grow over time. That's what financial stability will give you. I tell you what, it becomes normalized. It's for now, if I says, look, I'm going to run around the block, you would think, oh, he's probably going to do a 5K. But probably run around the block is like, I'll maybe go out and do a 10-miler. Now, when I first started running, it was like, run around the block. That's a marathon, 10-miler when I first started. And anybody else, it's a marathon. But it becomes normalized. So it's just in your DNA. You work at that level. So it becomes really easy every single time. And you become accepting to it. Because you know where you're going. It comes back to saying, Richard, about the fact that how much effort would you put in to buy 10 properties if you're going to get £1 million? That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everything. Definitely. I'll go and buy them now. I'll be phoning up everybody. You know, all the estate agents. I'll be going around everything. I'll be looking on every website and I'll be making deals and I'll be getting that done before the end of the month so I can get this £1 million.
Yeah.
Well, that £1 million probably delayed gratification, but it will come. It will come out of buying 10 properties over a period of time.
Yeah, if it's done right, yeah.
If it's done right, yeah, it definitely will. Because it'll lead to buying other properties and other properties and other properties and compounding over some period at some point in time. And allow you to invest more and buy more, invest more and buy more. And that's where it becomes, you know, where successful people, and you've said it here, is they're not afraid of hard work anymore. Do you know why you become not afraid of hard work? Because you know where you're going and you're excited about it.
Yeah.
It's not really hard work.
Yeah, you know, putting that time and effort in is going to, what results you're going to get. Especially if you've got somebody that...
To anyone else, it's hard work. It looks like hard work. Do you think it looked like hard work when I had my overalls on and my cleaning products and my pail and my bucket, my cleaning products and my step ladders on my shoulder when I was walking past at a weekend with everybody else having a barbecue in their garden while they're all laughing at me? Do you think that was hard work to me? Yeah. No. I knew where I was going, Richard. It wasn't hard work at all.
It is hard work, but that's what you've done.
To them, it was hard work. Yeah, that's what you meant, really. You meant to them it was hard work, wasn't it?
Yeah.
People go, look at him. He's putting all these hours. Look at wee Jim, because that's some phrase that they said. Look at Jim, ha ha ha, with their beer in their hand or something like that. You know, that's effectively, they didn't do that. That's their true story. Yeah. Laughing at me while I was walking to do a clean out of a house that I had rented, and I had to clean the toilet and everything at the same time. Would they ever do that? No. But were they going to get the rewards that I was going to get? No. And I knew what was coming anyway, because I had it in my mind where I was going and what I was getting. This was just a numbers game to me. It was only as quick as I can get there, so I wasn't bothered about it. When I found out that having an expensive car, it cost me a fortune, is actually holding back my financial future, I got rid of it straight away. When I realised that it was an expensive house I was living in, was holding me back because it was eating all my money, which I could be investing for my future, I got rid of it straight away.
Yeah.
When I realised that rather than paying cash for stuff, you could actually finance it on short term, which is over a 3 to 5 year, at small amounts of money every month. And I could have more money to reinvest in my future, which makes more money than the finance. I realized what I needed to do next. And that's the sort of things you work out over time. But it's having that courage to face the challenges.
Yeah. And at that time, that I wouldn't, well, for you, I wouldn't say maybe there are challenges, but you knew what you had to do. You didn't really mess about. You faced it and got on with it. And at that time, that's what you had to do, and face those kind of challenges. Whether other people thought, why are you doing that? Why are you putting yourself through it? But at that time, it was the right thing to do because you knew.
Can I tell you a story? A very successful person who's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, go on.
And CNN and Fox News all laughed at him when he said he was going to make an electric car.
I'm not laughing now.
All the stuff's on there. It's all historically put down. You could see it on the internet and everything. They all laughed at him and ridiculed him and says, this will never work. This will never happen for this guy. He's got no chance. This is going to be busting in a short period of time. Definitely. General Motors, Ford will never allow that to happen. and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah, well, we know it's not the newsreaders on there.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same process on a smaller scale for me. It's people just laughed at me and thought, what are you doing that for? It's like, flipping heck. Come on, just come to the bar and have a drink with us and look forward to our future. No thanks. Because I've seen what it's like. You can walk into some of these pubs and you'll see exactly the same person standing there after 20 years.
20 years at the bar, yeah, I've seen
20 years, and nothing's changed. Now, great, that's what they wanted to do with their life. That's okay with me. You know, more power to them. That's not the life I wanted.
No.
And I don't think that's a life that anybody would really want if they ever thought about it. But they don't realise where to start, what to do. And they're afraid of conquering their fears and facing their challenges and facing their challengers, the people that will try and hold them back, which is sometimes your closest friends and family.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, obviously, and if you could step out and have that courage and just face these challenges, that's quite a good thing. Also, your ambition and things could help. It kind of makes up for some of the challenges that you maybe can't tackle very well. Do you know, like, if you've got that drive and ambition, it makes up for, like, maybe the difficulties you have in perfecting certain skills and things, but because you're so driven and so ambitious, do you know, it kind of supersedes.
You just go to learn it.
Yeah.
So I just go and learn something I need to know. And, you know, sometimes I'll realise that somebody's got a better handle on it than me, and I'll learn from them, and I'll go and learn it. And once I've learned it, then I'll realise I need to hire somebody that's probably better than me at it, or somebody that could learn it as well. And then I'll put them in that position once I've learned it, and then I'll delegate that to them, and let them do it.
We spoke about before. It's having that realisation that maybe in some instances you're better at playing the second fiddle, and letting somebody else lead because they're maybe a wee bit better at it, and being able to identify that's quite an important thing, and step back and think, right, okay, somebody else that's better at doing this could step in and take the lead here, all for the greater good of you collectively, because we spoke about that in our collaboration show.
Collective, collaborating, community, they're all key words in effective management and also effective wealth building.
Yeah.
You'll achieve a lot more with a collective and a collaborative element, and with the right people, than you will on your own. Definitely. Humility is a lot to do with it as well. You talked about humility here, and you'd said about humility. So why humility? Well, let's look at this. I had status. I'll be honest. I had status when I first started. Not when I started property, but when I started in what was effectively the Amway business and network marketing as my side hustle. And basically we were asked to sell soap, washing powder, washing up liquid, cleaning products. And I had real bout of status. It's like, do you realise I'm an accountant? It's like, I can't do things like that.
Yeah.
But then my bosses and that used to say to me, or not my bosses, but my mentors used to say to me, it's like, okay, but the status pay the bills? I went, oh, well, it doesn't really. Status doesn't pay the bills at all. So I got a bout of non-status at some point. It's like I decided that it's like, no, this is not what I want to do. It's like I want to be successful. I have to get over my fear, and I have to get over my status thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I'm a pillar in the community, and I'm so great, and all the rest of it. And it's like, you know, that's when humility started to come in, and the fact that you've got to stay. You've got to have some sort of humility about you. You've got to be humble in an aspect, and you've got to realize that there's always room for improvement in several areas. Now, if you don't, then by all means stay exactly where you are, because you'll never achieve anything if you get that. I know a person recently I actually spoke to who's got they've got cash invested in a big, huge, massive car. Cash, and it's like, sell the damn thing, and invest it, because that car's costing you a fortune in comparison to what you're investing. Why are you doing it? There was another guy actually I actually met over in Neckar, and I said to him, why do you keep buying these cars? Because you're selling them after 6 months for a huge loss. So why do you keep doing that? Why do you not just hire the damn thing for 6 months? It'll probably be a lot cheaper. Just
Yeah,
hire
and
it
you
off to someone else, and then just hand it back. And if you really do like it, then you can finally buy it. You know, so just hire it rather than actually let it cost you all that money. But
What did he
this guy
say?
he had no, but genuinely, he says that's what I should do. He says,
Right.
but he's got that much money coming in just now, it doesn't phase him to a degree. And it's like, but then if you do that, then the money you've got, you potentially could give it to someone else that needs it. That struck a different chord, by the way, because he's maybe not that inclined at that type of person right now.
To share anything, yeah.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if he's back next year, then how he thinks after me planting that seed one.
See if it's maybe changed his perspective, yeah.
It maybe actually might. It might actually make him a different person to a degree. It might make him think and go away and think about, you know, is this really what you want in life? Are these things going to be really, you know, what's going to make you feel great about you? They won't, by the way. They might feel great for a wee while, and all your pals will tell you you're fantastic, but someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
No.
And it probably applies to the negative and the positive stuff.
The feelings that come with these things are they're short term anyway, and you really want to think about the long term and where you're going to be in years to come. And this short term recognition for having a fancy car isn't really going to mean much to you, is it?
What other things you got written here?
We spoke. You kind of already touched. I was going to say about the willingness to sacrifice, and you already kind of touched on it, where you said, you know, you had your car, and it was like you realised this is costing me money. Get rid of it. You had a bigger house. It cost it. Get rid of it. Do you know, relationships, whether it's family or friends that are holding you back, I'm not saying get rid of them, but do you know, put them to the side and don't let them hold you back.
Don't hang about them. Keep away from them.
Yeah, there's sacrifices that you have to make for the greater good of your own journey and your own success with you and your immediate family. Do you know, like you say, one of your biggest drivers was your family and your legacy and things as well. So these things need to be put to the side.
If you've got about a status, you'll probably find all the people round about you are similar to you. And the difficulties you've got next is if you become humble in terms of where you are and you don't worry about status anymore, you'll probably alienate these people, so they probably won't be your friends.
Because they won't align with you anymore because
they won't. Because it's all about things.
And moaning and you're out doing other things too.
It's all about things for them. It's all about material things. It's all about all these different things that they can have and possess, and it's like, you know, I talk about the houses and that, but the houses aren't really things. They don't make me feel any better. They just generate an income and they grow in wealth over a period of time while I'm housing people it might not otherwise be able to be housed by local authority or anything like that because the council's not got any houses. And you know, we could sit there and say, oh well, you're buying them all up. And the council's buying them up as well. The same houses, by the way.
Yeah.
With the taxpayers' money, by the way. So a lot of people just don't know that, do they?
Yeah, and they're paying full home reporting over sometimes as well.
Of course that. So, but that's my point. So it's willing to make sacrifices, and as I said before, I will do today what others will not to achieve tomorrow what others cannot.
Yeah, and a lot of people with this ambition and drive and things, it'll give them a reason to kind of move forward and strive towards things. And that then, like we said about obviously the electric car person, do you know, it gives them life purpose, and it gives them, you're like, right, okay, this is why I'm here. This is what I was put on earth for. Do you know, it gives you a reason why you're
Elon
on earth.
Musk.
Well, yeah.
Elon Musk is convinced he's put on earth to save everybody.
He's got that higher purpose thing.
Hence the reason why SpaceX came about.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why he's completely convinced that we need to find other planets to colonize in order to survive. In order for the human race to survive. Now, there's a bit of truth in that, and the fact that we will keep growing and growing and growing. We're at 8 and 9 billion people, and in years to come, it will be more and more and more and more and more, and eventually we'll just completely consume the whole of the planet. And you could say to yourself, well, stop consuming the planet and recycle everything. Well, it's a myth, by the way. It's not really that true. You can't recycle everything, but there is a finite amount of people that can only live on a planet. So hence the reason, if we want to grow as a species, then we'll have to find another planet to colonize or make a planet. And that's what he is convinced is his life purpose. There's another guy called Brian, and he's convinced his life purpose is to demonstrate to people how you can actually get younger. Honestly, how you could reverse aging. Yeah, that's his life purpose. He's made an absolute millions upon maybe billions in his field and whatever it was he was doing. But he's convinced by the way he lives, and he's testing out on himself and his partner.
Reverse that aging process.
Yeah, how they could reverse aging. And so far, it's kind of got some truth in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm not exactly convinced of that. It's a lot to do with the atmospheric. In your skin, it absorbs all the toxins and everything, and how your body has to process it, and that's what ages you. If you didn't have all that stuff, you would still have the same skin as you were when you were a bairn, when you first popped out. You'd still have the same lungs and everything. Nothing would be. You'd have no illnesses or anything like that, more than likely, because you've got nothing to affect you anymore. But then what happens out of that is you develop a species that actually are no longer tolerant to infection. Yeah. And then for something like COVID or even a common cold comes along and wipes out the whole human race. So these things have to happen. It's nature.
Yeah, because that leaves you without any kind of immune system or the ability to fight anything off. So,
there's definitely a recognition that there is. I don't care what anybody says. There isn't any shortcuts.
No.
You have to. You will pay a price. I don't know what that price is for anybody individually, but at some point in time, you will pay a price, or you will reap the consequences. In other words, if you don't put the effort in, Richard, you won't get the rewards later on. So the price you're paying is the effort. The rewards is what you get later on. If you don't put the effort in, you're not getting the rewards. So you will pay a price for actually working hard or working smart and realizing that there's no shortcuts. Buffett talks about all the time, doesn't he? It's like, hey, the problem with society today is no one wants to get rich slow.
No. And no one wants to do the long term. It's all like, they'll get rich quick and all these, and it's instant. It's the instant generation. Do you know? It's the instant result generation.
All the people are getting rich quick are the people that are actually saying you can get rich quick. Buy my course.
Yes, it's selling that dream to people. Look at
the amount of sorcerers. Look at the amount of sorcerers that have popped up. All these furus out there, the fake gurus, claiming that you could be a sorcerer and you could make tons of money, and showing you, basically on a chart, on a spreadsheet. Well, if you do this, you do that. You do this, you do that. You do 10, you do 20. But they've not realised that there's so many sorcerers that there's a finite market for the amount of properties that they could source. Therefore, this is why I say to people, for God's sake, keep your full-time job.
Yeah.
Don't give it up and become a full-time at something. Yeah, because you'll get, but he is or she is, they're successful at it. But it doesn't mean to say you'll be.
Yeah. I think, and I do agree about, like, there isn't any shortcuts as such, but I think there's definitely ways where you could save yourself a lot of time and effort listening to the right people that have done things before you and made the mistakes that you could avoid by listening to them. As long as you're listening to the right people.
As well as, don't be delusional.
Yeah.
You're not going to be an astronaut if you've got health problems. Ever. It just will never happen.
Yeah, you need to be like tip-top fit condition.
You're not going to run 100 meters in 10 seconds if you're 20 stone. And that's where delusion sets in. So don't be delusional, but equally, don't be too hard on yourself and don't be too honest. Let your parents come along and say, oh, you want to be an astronaut one day? Well, that's never going to happen.
Shoot you down right at the beginning. Yeah.
Well, do you honestly, if I'd said to mum, I think I did say to my parents at one point in time, it's like, I'm going to be a millionaire one day. I think my mum said to me something like that, be careful. There's a lot of people out there, And it's like, I know she's only trying to protect me and all the rest of it. But could you imagine if one day I said, I'm going to be a multimillionaire? Some people actually believe me. I did say that, actually. I'm going to be a multimillionaire one day and all the rest of it. And some people went, I genuinely believe you with a passion. Tom Henderson was one of them. I remember him saying that to you. Jim, it doesn't matter what you do. I definitely believe you're going to achieve this. So he was adamant. Whereas other people like, oh, bless him, and all the rest of it. It's like, well, I'm not really caring what you think. It says, I just verbalize it and vocalize it because I know that's going to spur me on to do it more. Because that was some of the fire within me that actually did that. It's called being hung by your tongue.
Yeah.
Now, I know people today were with me at the same time, and they never really said anything like that. You know the classic example? You sometimes go to these seminars and somebody holds up a £20 note and says, who wants £20? Everybody sits in their seat. And one person darts at the audience, takes the 20 quid and puts it in his pocket. And he goes, well done, son. That's the person that will be successful. Because they're ready to grab opportunity. The rest of you, I've still got to work on it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I was one of these people that started my seat and went, oh.
and then you're left thinking,
I'm embarrassed. What about the embarrassment of a run up there and all the rest of it? To hell with embarrassment.
And all those people that have sat down after it, I bet they thought to themselves, damn, I should have got up and grabbed that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But they went through all the fear and the embarrassment, and that's what held them back. Nothing else. It's the fear it held them back. The false expectations appearing real. It's what they had in their own mind. You were never born with that fear, by the way.
It's developed, yeah.
Yeah, it was acquired. It was an acquired habit. There's two things you're born with, apparently. It's fear of loud noises and heights.
Yeah.
Everything else is acquired. So if you've acquired that, surely you can get rid of it with the right programming. And that is the ambition and the willingness and the sacrifices and the goal setting and the thinking big will actually pull you out of that. You'll overcome that as a result. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that ambition could help you in your own success and things, but sometimes do you think maybe when you've maybe got too much ambition and it could maybe get in the way a wee bit of what you're actually trying to set out to do because you're maybe overly ambitious?
Yeah, I've had that.
Surprisingly, I thought you were going to say something like
that. Yeah, that could lead to ultimate destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll do anything. You'll push yourself, and even though you're at your breaking point, you'll still keep pushing yourself because you've still got it, and you're still driven, and you're still going forward, and you know you need to do it, and you're convincing yourself you have to do it, and if you don't do it, you'll not achieve it, and therefore it pushes you to destruction, I would say. Yeah. You sacrifice everything. Ultimately, you're a miserable git for the rest of your days. And that's, I've been there. I've been there, definitely. Yeah. I've been there. I've been like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire. It's like, I am miserable. But I was miserable because I put far too much pressure on myself.
And you're so overly focused on obviously,
blinded, completely blinkered. And people say that's a great thing, is it? No, but not when you've got a young family and you've got a partner as well. Yeah. And you've got other responsibilities like your job and stuff like that as well. You just become completely obsessed. And that's what happened to me. I became obsessive about it. I had to have it. And that's when I was at, even when I started this agency business, I remember I was up all the time at night. And I literally just slept 2 hours a night every single time. And now I know in hindsight.
I remember when we first worked together, I mean, you used to run on fumes all the time. I mean, you're always, I mean, you're a busy person by nature, I think, and always kind of, but yeah, how you done that? I don't know how you done that.
Well, we know how we did it. But I just ran on borrowed time. Yeah. I ran on, it's like what you say, I ran on fumes, and that will take its toll and pay a price. And eventually what will happen is, it's the classic example about chopping down trees, you start off with the sharp axe and it begins to blunt and you become less effective as a result of it, and because of lack of sleep. And then when you get lack of sleep, what happens is you get the wrong, or you get none of the vital adrenalines and that. They're like things like serotonin. You get none of that.
Time to regenerate yourself.
Yeah, because your serotonin comes from the gut. So if you're sleeping, your serotonin is not produced for the day. Therefore, you don't feel happy about yourself. So you feel inward, and you start to experience depression. Okay, but then if you keep going, because it's like, well, it's just depression, I'll get over it, that's fine. And that's why it's dangerous for people. And I would say it's dangerous for people to say, oh, you'll snap out of it. And it's like, no. They'll no snap out of it if they keep doing the same thing. They need to rest.
Take a step
That's
out.
why it's called depression. Just think about it as decompression. They need to decompress. So they need to take a step back. They need to take stock. They need to relax. If you're halfway through the hoovering and you've just not got the will to live, just stop hoovering and leave it in the middle of the floor and go and sit down and have a rest. Mentally. Physically, you've still got it probably, but mentally you've not. You're just like, that's how people get to the point where it's like, I'm just ready to do it. I'm done. I've had it.
Because your mental ability and your physical ability are two different things, but are so interconnected. And like you say, you can maybe physically be able, but your mind just won't let you. If you're mentally exhausted, it won't let you do that.
So that's why it becomes very destructive towards everything. And your relationships and your family and your partners and your friends all get thrown by the wayside, all because of that. But you have to realize it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
So unless you're bringing people with you, you're going to be standing there on your own. It's like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
You've got your Sherpas, you've got your friends, you've got everybody that comes with you. And if you don't take them with you, you're going to be standing on the top on your own. And I tell you what, it's bloody lonely.
Yeah.
So the object of the exercise is to bring people with you on that, or find people that are like you that are prepared to come with you, or So this is the whole thing about what my mentors used to say is we used to go on fancy holidays, like big, massive, epic holidays, and our buzz phrase, our phrase was, "We'll see you on the beaches of the world." We'll see you on the beaches of the world. That's what they used to leave. Yeah, Jim, we'll see you on the beaches of the world. It's like, when are you coming? When are you coming on this? When are you coming on this vacation with us? It's like, you've got to earn it, by the way.
Yeah.
So when are you coming? And it was to pull you or push you. One or the other. If you're neither, you'll not do anything.
Yeah.
So my advice then, and you're just about to talk about the takeaway next, the final bit. When you're using ambition, consider what overall happiness and success looks like to you. Don't become blinkered like I did, and obsessive. You've got to think about the journey. If it means you've got to slow down, you're still going to get there. You'll maybe get there a wee bit later, but you probably need to slow down to take stock so you don't lose everybody on the way, because everybody else will become a casualty of your success, and that's not success.
No, that's a good point, actually.
That's literally failure. You get to the top, but you're the only person there. You've failed. Completely failed. You've not realized what you were meant to do, and you'll be a very lonely person. That's why you get all some of these pop stars that, like, they just go mental. They turn to the drink and the drugs. It's like, because they've realized they've actually got all this success and all this wealth, but they've got nobody with them.
They're so high up
on the way.
They're so high up and successful and on this pedestal when they're all alone, and they don't feel like they've got anybody that could relate to them or talk to them.
Only people round about them are the people that actually hold them up there. And that's the people that are making money off them.
Making the money.
And they will not let them off of that hamster wheel because it affects their income.
They're the cash cow, basically.
The guilt trips, all the rest of it. It's the thing about, when you've got a family. I do have a person, I was discussing this about a month ago with him. He actually employs his sister and he pays his sister very well, but his sister really doesn't do much at all, but it's to help his sister. And then his sister realised that maybe her job might be in jeopardy, so basically started to threaten him about what she might do if she loses her job. And I can't repeat it on here what she was saying, because it was that bad. It's criminal what she was talking about. Unbelievable. And that's his sister, because she was completely reliant on him now. And she had actually, she never helped him get anywhere. He just decided to help her out. And all of a sudden it's like, I'm feeling threatened. I'm going to lose this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to turn on him.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it shows you what money can do to people as well, because obviously that's a big factor in it.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that was good.
What's the key takeaway from this then?
Yeah, I think, well, what I was going to say is we didn't think we were going to get through all those points that I wrote down, but we did actually. So that was quite a good exercise in going through all them and getting your feedback for your own journey, Jim, as well. But yeah, the key takeaway really is that driving ambition can be really healthy in specific amounts and in certain situations, and if it's applied properly, pushing you, and if you've got a team around you and things, to really strive for that excellence. However, as we've just obviously finished off and spoke about there, if your ambition is causing you to kind of be really isolated, lose maybe relationships, or it may be time to take a wee step back and take that time to recharge, and be taking that time to address these kind of issues. It will help you then work towards maintaining that balance between having success and controlling that driving ambition, all while having your own well-being looked after throughout the years, so that when you are successful and you have built your wealth, you could enjoy it later in life with the people around you, I think. And that's a good way, I think, to wrap that up today.
Definitely. Okay, good stuff.
Brilliant. Thanks for all your insights, Jim, and thanks everybody for watching. We will be back Monday 12:30 as usual for the Wealth Creation Show, and I will see you all then.